The roar of the crowd shook the metal walls. Thousands of aliens from across the galaxy screamed for blood. They wanted death. They wanted entertainment. They always got what they wanted in the Valdris Coliseum. Taiho stood in the darkness behind the massive arena doors. His hands were not shaking. After 2 years in this place, fear had become an old friend. He had watched hundreds die in this arena. Some screamed, some begged, some fought with everything they had. None of it mattered. The result was always the same. The guards had come for him that morning. A reptilian creature named Vornik owned this place. He was cruel and rich, and he loved watching things die. Vornik had looked at Taiho with cold yellow eyes and smiled. That smile meant something bad was coming. "Today, human, you fight Krava," Vornik had said. "Try to make it entertaining." Taiho knew that name. Everyone in the Colosseum knew that name. Krava was a Grimspawn. The Grimspawn were legends. They were warriors who had never lost. For 300 years, no one had defeated a Grimspawn in single combat. Their bodies were covered in thick armor-like shells. They had claws that could cut through steel. They were 8 feet tall and built for killing. Krava was the champion. The announcers said Krava had killed 847 opponents. Krava showed no mercy. Krava did not hesitate. Krava was death itself. The door began to open. Light flooded in. The noise of the crowd grew louder. Taiho walked forward. He had no weapon. They never gave weapons to prisoners who faced Grimspawn warriors. What would be the point? The arena was huge. The floor was stained dark from years of blood. Seats rose up on all sides, filled with every kind of alien Taiho could imagine. Some had scales, some had fur, some were just shapes he could not understand. All of them were here to watch him die. Across the arena, another door opened. Krava stepped out into the light. The crowd went wild. They chanted the Grimspawn's name. Krava was terrifying. The warrior's body was covered in dark green armor plating. 6 eyes glowed red in the light. 4 arms ended in claws that gleamed like knives. Krava moved like a predator, smooth and deadly. Taiho took a breath. He thought about his sister, Minji. She had died when their colony ship was raided. He thought about Earth, his home so far away. He thought about the life he would never have. But then he thought about something else. A memory from 3 years ago. He had been a soldier then, stationed on a mining colony on the edge of human space. One night, he had found something in the rocks. A creature, badly hurt. Its body was covered in burns. Acid was eating through its shell. It was dying. Taiho should have left it, should have called for backup. But he saw the pain in those eyes. He saw a living thing that needed help. He had used his medical kit. He had neutralized the acid with every chemical compound he had. The burns on his arms from handling that acid had left scars. But he saved that creature. He nursed it back to health for 2 weeks. Then one night it was gone. It had escaped back into the wilderness. Taiho had never known what it was, just some alien creature. But he remembered those eyes. 6 red eyes that looked at him with something like gratitude. Now Krava was walking toward him. The Grimspawn moved slowly, letting the crowd enjoy the moment. Taiho stood his ground. If he was going to die, he would die standing. Krava stopped 10 feet away. The warrior's claws flexed. The crowd grew quiet, waiting for the killing blow. Then something strange happened. Krava's head tilted. The 6 red eyes focused on Taiho's arms, on the scars there, the acid-burned scars that formed a specific pattern. Krava made a sound, a clicking noise deep in the warrior's throat. Taiho froze. He knew that sound. He had heard it before, 3 years ago, from a dying creature in the rocks. Krava stepped closer. The clicking grew more intense. The warrior's eyes moved from the scars to Taiho's face and back again. The crowd started to murmur. This was not normal. Grimspawn warriors did not hesitate. They did not pause. They killed. Taiho's heart was pounding. Could it be? Was it possible? Krava made another sound. This one was different. It was a word in the Grimspawn language. Taiho did not understand it, but he felt its meaning somehow. Recognition, memory, debt. The warrior's body language changed. The aggressive stance softened. Then, slowly, Krava lowered down onto one knee. The entire arena fell silent. This was impossible. Grimspawn warriors did not kneel. They did not show weakness. They certainly did not kneel to prisoners about to be executed. Vornik's voice boomed over the speakers. "What is this? Krava, kill the human! Now!" Krava did not move. The warrior stayed kneeling, head bowed. Taiho understood. Somehow, impossibly, the creature he had saved 3 years ago had been a young Grimspawn. And Krava knew. Krava remembered. "Guards!" Vornik screamed. "Kill them both!" Doors around the arena burst open. Armed guards poured out. They carried energy weapons and shock batons. There were dozens of them. Krava stood up. The warrior turned to face the guards. A deep growl came from Krava's throat. Then the Grimspawn moved. It was faster than anything Taiho had ever seen. Krava crossed the distance to the first group of guards in a heartbeat. Claws flashed. Bodies fell. The guards tried to fire their weapons, but Krava was already among them. Taiho saw a fallen shock baton near his feet. He grabbed it. A guard rushed at him. Taiho swung the baton, catching the guard in the head. The alien went down. More guards came. Taiho fought beside Krava. The Grimspawn was a whirlwind of death. Every movement was precise. Every strike was lethal. In less than a minute, 20 guards lay dead or dying. The crowd was screaming now, some in excitement, some in fear. They had never seen anything like this. Krava grabbed Taiho's arm. The warrior pointed to a maintenance door on the far side of the arena. They ran together. Energy blasts hit the ground around them. The door was locked, but Krava's claws tore through it like paper. They plunged into darkness. Behind them, alarms began to sound throughout the station. Taiho and Krava ran through maintenance tunnels. The Grimspawn knew where to go, moving with purpose through the maze of corridors. Everything had changed in moments. Taiho had walked into that arena expecting to die. Now he was running for his life with the galaxy's most feared warrior at his side, the warrior he had saved, the friend he never knew he had made. The tunnels were dark and smelled like oil and rust. Emergency lights flashed red every few seconds. Alarms screamed through the station. Taiho could hear boots running somewhere above them. Guards were searching everywhere. Krava led the way through the maze of passages. The Grimspawn moved quietly despite being so large. Taiho stayed close behind. His mind was still trying to understand what had happened. They stopped in a small room filled with old machinery. Krava turned to face him. In the dim light, those 6 red eyes glowed softly. The warrior made clicking sounds. Then Krava pointed at Taiho's scarred arms. The Grimspawn touched its own chest, where similar scars marked the armor plating. Taiho nodded slowly. "It was you, 3 years ago. You were the one I saved." Krava could not speak human languages well, but the warrior understood. The clicking changed to something that sounded almost like purring. Krava touched Taiho's shoulder gently, carefully avoiding the sharp claws. Then Krava did something unexpected. The warrior's chest began to glow. A soft blue light pulsed under the armor plates. It grew brighter, then dimmed, then brightened again in a steady rhythm. "What are you doing?" Taiho whispered. Krava could not explain, but Taiho sensed this was important. The pulsing continued for several minutes. Then it stopped. They heard voices in the corridor outside. Krava moved to the door, ready to fight. But the voices passed by. The guards had not found them yet. Far across the galaxy on the Grimspawn homeworld, something was happening. Ancient receivers built into the planet's core detected the signal. It was a call that had not been sent in over 200 years. A life debt call. One of their warriors was asking for help to protect an honored one. The Grimspawn military moved immediately. Ships were launched. Warriors were assembled. The entire armada prepared to answer the call. Back on the Coliseum station, Vornik was furious. He paced in his control room, smashing things. His yellow eyes burned with rage. "How much is the bounty?" asked one of his assistants, a nervous creature with too many arms. 1,000,000 credits for Krava, 2,000,000 for the human, alive or dead. Send it to every mercenary in the sector," Vornik hissed. The message went out instantly. Across the station and nearby space, every bounty hunter, mercenary, and criminal received it. That was a fortune. Ships began turning toward the station. Hunters who had been sleeping woke up and grabbed their weapons. In the lower levels of the station, a man named Sang-hoon was working on a broken air recycler. He was human, like Taeho. He had been on the same colony ship when it was raided. The raiders had sold him to the station as maintenance crew. Sang-hoon heard the bounty announcement. He heard the description of the human prisoner. His hands stopped moving. Could it be? Could Taeho still be alive? He had thought all his people were dead. For 2 years, he had worked these tunnels alone, believing he was the last survivor from their ship. Sang-hoon abandoned his work and started searching. If Taeho was alive, if he was hiding in these tunnels, Sang-hoon had to find him first. Meanwhile, in the station's security center, a woman named Yuna watched her monitors. She was the security chief, a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms. She was good at her job, but she hated it. She had seen too much cruelty in this place. She watched the guards searching for Taeho and Krava. She saw the heat signatures on her scanners. She knew where they were hiding. But she did not send the guards there. Instead, she routed the guards to other sections. She gave them false information. Yuna did not know why she was helping them. Maybe she was tired of watching innocents die. Maybe she had finally had enough of Vornik's evil. Or maybe she just wanted to see what would happen. In the cargo bay, something dark was landing. A ship unlike any other. It was black as space itself and shaped like a blade. This was a Void Claw mercenary ship. The Void Claws were legends, almost as feared as the Grimspawn. They were apex predators, beings who hunted for sport and profit. 3 Void Claws emerged from the ship. They were tall and thin, covered in dark armor that seemed to absorb light. Their faces were hidden behind masks. They carried weapons that hummed with deadly energy. They had come for the bounty. 2,000,000 credits was worth the trip. Taeho and Krava had been moving through the tunnels for hours. They were tired, hungry. Taeho's legs ached, but they could not stop. They came to a junction where 5 tunnels met. Krava paused, trying to decide which way to go. A voice spoke from the shadows. "Taeho? Is that really you?" Both warriors spun around. A man stepped into the light. He was thin and dirty, wearing maintenance coveralls. But Taeho recognized him immediately. "Sang-hoon!" Taeho almost shouted, then remembered to be quiet. The 2 humans grabbed each other, holding tight. Sang-hoon was shaking. "I thought you were dead. I thought they killed everyone." "I thought the same about you," Taeho said. "You've been here the whole time?" "Working in the lower levels. There are others too, 5 more humans. We've been trying to stay alive, hoping for rescue." Krava made a questioning sound. Taeho turned to explain, but Sang-hoon was already staring at the Grimspawn with wide eyes. "Why is a Grimspawn helping you?" Sang-hoon asked. "Long story, but Krava is a friend. We can trust them." Sang-hoon nodded slowly. He had learned to accept strange things in this place. "Come on. I know where you can hide. The others will want to meet you." He led them through a series of narrow passages. They went down several levels, into parts of the station that looked forgotten. Finally, they reached a small room behind a water treatment facility. Inside were 5 other humans, 3 men and 2 women. They looked tired and scared, but they were alive. When they saw Taiho and Krava, they jumped to their feet. One of them, a woman named Hana, spoke first. "Sang-hoon, what is this?" "This is Taiho. He was on our ship, and this," Sang-hoon gestured to Krava, "is apparently on our side." The humans stared at the massive Grimspawn warrior. Krava remained still, trying not to appear threatening. "We heard about the bounty," said another man. "Every hunter in the sector is coming here." "I know," Taiho said, "but we can't stay hidden forever." "We need a plan." Hana walked closer. She studied Taiho carefully. "Why would a Grimspawn protect you? They don't care about anyone. I saved Krava's life once, before I was captured. Now there's a debt." The humans exchanged glances. In the galaxy, life debts were serious things among warrior species. Suddenly, Yuna's voice crackled over a nearby comm panel. She had hacked into the maintenance channel. "If anyone can hear this, listen carefully. The Void Claws are in the station. They're tracking your heat signatures. You have maybe 10 minutes. Everyone froze. Void Claws. The name alone was terrifying. Krava stood up and moved to the door. The warrior's claws extended, ready for battle. Taiho felt his stomach drop. They had escaped guards. They had survived the arena. But Void Claws were different. Void Claws were professional killers who never failed. Outside, in the corridors, the 3 Void Claw hunters moved silently through the darkness. Their sensors were locked on the heat signatures. They were close now, very close. They could smell prey. The Void Claws moved through the darkness like ghosts. Their footsteps made no sound. Their breathing was silent. They were perfect hunters, and they had found their prey. In the small room, Krava positioned themselves between the door and the humans. Taiho grabbed a metal pipe from the corner. It was not much, but it was better than nothing. The other humans found whatever they could use as weapons. Sang-hoon held a heavy wrench. Hana found a piece of broken machinery with sharp edges. The door exploded inward. 2 Void Claws came through fast. They moved like liquid shadow. Their weapons fired before anyone could react. Energy blasts lit up the room. One hit the wall near Taiho's head. The metal melted. Krava charged forward with a roar that shook the walls. The Grimspawn was fast, but the Void Claws were faster. They separated, moving to opposite sides. They were trying to surround Krava. The 3rd Void Claw came through the door. This one went straight for the humans. Taiho swung his pipe. The Void Claw dodged easily and struck back. The hit sent Taiho flying across the room. Pain exploded in his ribs. He crashed into the wall and fell. Sang-hoon attacked with his wrench. The Void Claw caught it with one hand and twisted. The wrench flew away. Then the hunter kicked Sang-hoon in the chest. He went down hard. Krava was fighting the other 2. The Grimspawn's claws clashed against the Void Claw's weapons. Sparks flew. The warriors moved so fast they were almost blurs. But even Krava could not fight 2 Void Claws at once forever. The 3rd Void Claw grabbed Hana. She screamed. The hunter lifted her off the ground, ready to use her as a shield or hostage. Taiho forced himself to stand. His ribs burned. He could barely breathe, but he could not let this happen. Not again. He had lost too many people already. He charged at the Void Claw holding Hana. He did not think. He just moved. The hunter saw him coming and threw Hana aside. It raised its weapon to fire. Taiho was too close to dodge. This was it. This was the end. Then everything changed. The entire station shook. A deep vibration ran through the metal. The lights flickered. Alarms started blaring a different sound. This was not a security alarm. This was something else. The Void Claw paused. Its weapon stayed pointed at Taiho, but it did not fire. Krava stopped fighting. The Grimspawn's head tilted up, as if listening to something the others could not hear. Then Krava made a sound. It was not a roar or a click. It was something deeper, something that felt ancient and powerful. It was a word in the Grimspawn language that none of the humans understood, but they felt its meaning in their bones. Family, kin, home. The station shook again, harder this time. In the security center, Yuna stared at her monitors in shock. Her 4 hands moved across the controls frantically. "Impossible," she whispered. "That's impossible." Her screens showed space around the station. Something was appearing there, something massive. A tier in reality itself was opening up. Ships were coming through. Huge warships covered in the same dark green armor as Krava's body. Their weapons could destroy planets. Their shields could withstand stars. There were dozens of them. No, hundreds of them. The Grimspawn armada had arrived. Every ship in the sector detected them. Every scanner went crazy. Pirates who had been coming for the bounty suddenly reversed course. Merchant vessels fled at maximum speed. Even the criminals on the station started running for their ships. The Void Claws in the room with Taiho received a message on their private comm channel. They looked at each other. Without a word, they turned and left. They ran. Void Claws never ran from a fight, but they were not stupid. No amount of money was worth staying here now. Krava helped Taiho stand. The Grimspawn's eyes were glowing brighter than before. The warrior was making clicking sounds that almost sounded happy. "What's happening?" Sang-hoon asked, holding his bruised chest. Taiho looked at Krava. "I think help just arrived." On the bridge of the lead Grimspawn warship, the Supreme Commander stood watching the Colosseum station. This commander was even larger than Krava. The armor plating was decorated with marks of honor and battle. This was a warrior who had lived for centuries and fought in 1,000 wars. The commander's name was Dracus. And Dracus remembered a small human who had shown mercy when none was expected, who had saved a young Grimspawn's life when it would have been easier to let them die. Dracus had been that young Grimspawn, and Dracus had become Supreme Commander partly because of the lessons learned from that act of kindness. Now Krava, one of Dracus's finest warriors, had sent the call. The human who saved Dracus's life was in danger. That could not stand. "Open a channel to the station," Dracus commanded. The communication officer obeyed. Every screen on the Colosseum station suddenly showed the same image, a massive Grimspawn warrior staring out at them with 6 burning eyes. Vornik was in his control room when the image appeared. His yellow eyes went wide with fear. He knew what this meant. "This is Supreme Commander Dracus of the Grimspawn Armada," the voice boomed. It was translated into every language spoken on the station. "You hold one who is honored among our people. You hold one who showed mercy to our kind. Release all humans on this station immediately, or face our wrath." Vornik's hands were shaking. He had seen many terrible things in his long life. He had fought wars. He had killed thousands. But he had never seen anything like this. 200 Grimspawn warships. The full military might of the most feared warrior species in the galaxy. All here for one human. One of Vornik's assistants spoke quietly. "Sir, what do we do?" Vornik did not answer. He was calculating. Could he fight? Could he negotiate? Could he run? Before he could decide, something else appeared on the scanners. A single ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the station. It was small compared to the Grimspawn warships, but there was something about it that made every sensor on the station scream warnings. The ship was sleek and black, but it was not like any design the galaxy had seen before. It moved in ways that should not be possible. It did not use conventional engines. Space itself seemed to bend around it. Yuna, still watching from the security center, zoomed in on the new ship. She enhanced the image. On the side of the hull, she saw markings, letters in a language she recognized from the human prisoner's files. Earth. The ship was from Earth. A new voice came over the station's speakers. It was calm. It was cold. It was absolutely terrifying in its confidence. "This is Commander Hyun-woo of the Earth Expeditionary Fleet. We have detected human life signs on this station. You will release them immediately." Vornik laughed. He could not help it. One human ship? What could one ship do against his station's defenses? He had 500 defense ships. He had mercenaries and weapons everywhere. "Human," Vornik said into the comm. "You are outnumbered. Leave now or die." There was a pause. Then Commander Hyun-woo spoke again. "You have 30 seconds to comply." Vornik slammed his fist on the control panel. "All ships, destroy that human vessel." 500 defense ships and mercenary vessels turned their weapons toward the small Earth ship. Every gun charged, every missile locked on. They fired. The space between the station and the Earth ship filled with weapons fire. Enough firepower to destroy a moon rained down on that single vessel. The Earth ship did not move. It did not fire back. It did not raise shields. Instead, something rippled around it. Space itself twisted. The weapon's fire hit something invisible and simply disappeared. Not deflected, not absorbed, just gone. Then the Earth ship moved. It was not fast. It was instantaneous. One moment it was far away. The next moment it was in the middle of the defense fleet. The ship did something that made Yuna's instruments go crazy. A wave of energy pulsed out from it. Not a weapon blast, not a missile, something else. Something that grabbed space itself and squeezed. 100 ships crumpled like paper. Metal screamed. Hulls imploded. The ships did not explode. They just collapsed in on themselves and stopped existing. The remaining 400 ships stopped firing. The station went completely silent. The silence in space was absolute. 400 ships floated motionless. Their weapons were still charged, but no one fired. The wreckage of 100 vessels drifted slowly, twisted metal that no longer looked like ships at all. On the Colosseum station, every being who could see a screen watched in shock. The most feared mercenaries in the galaxy stood frozen. Pirates who bragged about fighting entire fleets were backing away from their weapons. Even the Void Claws who had fled earlier were now running for their escape pods. The Earth ship hung in space like a dark star. It did not look aggressive. It did not need to. Everyone had just seen what it could do. Commander Hyun-woo's voice came over the speakers again. Still calm. Still cold. "I will ask one more time. Release the humans." Vornik stared at his screens with his mouth open. His yellow eyes were wide with terror. He had never known fear like this. His hands moved to the controls. "Open the prison blocks," he said quietly. "Sir?" his assistant asked. "Open them!" Vornik screamed. "All of them! Every cell! Let them all go!" Throughout the station, prison doors began sliding open. Confused prisoners stepped out into corridors. Guards backed away, no longer trying to stop anyone. The entire criminal empire that Vornik had built was falling apart in minutes. In the maintenance room where Taiho and the others hid, they heard the distant sound of doors opening. Alarms had stopped. The station's weapon systems were powering down. Krava made a satisfied clicking sound. The Grimspawn warrior walked to the door and looked out into the corridor. It was empty. The guards had fled. "We can move," Taiho said. "I think it's over." The small group of humans followed Krava through the tunnels. They moved toward the upper levels. As they went, they saw other prisoners emerging. Aliens of every species, all freed. Some were crying, some were laughing. Many just looked confused. They reached a cargo bay that had viewing windows. Taiho pressed against the glass and looked out into space. He saw the Grimspawn Armada, 200 massive warships arranged in perfect formation. Their presence alone would have been enough to make any enemy surrender. But then he saw the Earth ship, the Defiant Phoenix, according to the markings on its hull. It was small compared to the Grimspawn vessels, but somehow it felt more powerful, more dangerous. "That's from Earth?" Sang-hoon asked, standing beside Taeho. "That's from home?" "Looks like it," Taeho whispered. A woman named Somin stood on the bridge of the Defiant Phoenix. She was the weapons specialist, though calling the ship's systems weapons felt wrong. They were something else, something that bent the laws of physics like they were suggestions. "Commander," she said, "the station has opened all prison blocks. Multiple human life signs are moving to the main docking areas." Commander Hyunwoo nodded. He was a tall man with cold eyes and hands that never shook. He had been chosen to lead this mission because he could make hard decisions without hesitation, but also because he understood mercy. "Prepare boarding teams," he said. "Ji-won, plot escape routes for all freed prisoners. Make sure they can get off this station safely." Ji-won, the ship's navigator, moved her hands across her controls. She had enhanced reflexes, improved by Earth's new technology. She could process information faster than normal humans. "Routes plotted, Commander. I'm sending them to the freed prisoners' data pads now." Hyunwoo looked at the Grimspawn armada on his screens. "Open a channel to their Supreme Commander." The face of Dracus appeared. The massive Grimspawn studied Hyunwoo with 6 glowing eyes. "Commander Hyunwoo of Earth," Dracus said in surprisingly good human language. "We thank you for your assistance, but we could have handled this situation." Hyunwoo allowed himself a small smile. "I'm sure you could have, Supreme Commander. But these are our people. It's our responsibility to bring them home." Dracus's mandibles moved in what might have been a smile. "Your species has changed since we last encountered you. The humans we knew were weak, scattered, easy prey for raiders." "Things change," Hyunwoo said simply. "Indeed they do," Dracus agreed. "We came here because one of your kind saved one of ours. The human Taeho showed mercy to me when I was young and injured. Such honor must be repaid." Hyunwoo's expression softened slightly. "Taeho is alive?" "Very much so, and protected by our finest warrior." "Then perhaps," Hyunwoo said, "our species have more in common than the galaxy realizes." On the station, Vornik was trying to escape. He had a private ship hidden in a secret docking bay. He had emergency funds. He could rebuild somewhere else. He just needed to get away before the humans or Grimspawn decided to execute him. He was running down a corridor when he ran into someone. He stumbled back and looked up. Yuna stood there. The security chief had left her post. She held a weapon in 2 of her 4 hands. "Where are you going?" she asked. "Out of my way," Vornik hissed. "No," Yuna said. "I've watched you hurt people for too long. I've followed your orders and hated myself for it. That ends today." Vornik tried to push past her. Yuna fired. The blast hit him in the leg. He fell, screaming. "The humans can decide what to do with you," Yuna said. "I'm done being part of your evil." In the cargo bay, the freed humans gathered. Taeho counted at least 30 humans, including his group. Some he recognized from the colony ship. Others must have been taken from different raids. The bay doors opened, but not violently. They slid open smoothly. A voice spoke over the intercom. "Human prisoners, this is the Earth Expeditionary Fleet. We're here to take you home. Please remain calm. Boarding teams are entering now." Soldiers walked into the bay. They wore black armor that looked like it belonged in a science fiction story. Their weapons were sleek and advanced. Their movements were precise and professional. But what made Taeho's throat tight was the flag on their shoulders. The flag of Earth, home. The lead soldier removed her helmet. She had short black hair and kind eyes. "I'm Lieutenant Somin. We're here to get you out. Is anyone injured?" Several people raised their hands. Medics immediately moved forward with equipment that looked decades ahead of anything Taeho had seen before. Somin walked up to Taeho. "Are you Taeho?" "Yes," he said, surprised. "Commander Hyunwoo wants to meet you. The Grimspawn Supreme Commander says you're special." She looked at Krava, who stood behind Taiho. "Is this your friend?" Taiho nodded. "Krava saved my life. We saved each other." Soman smiled. "Then your friend is welcome on our ship. Please come with me." They were escorted through the station. Everywhere they went, aliens moved out of their way. The humans walked with confidence now. They had armor. They had weapons. They had a warship that could crush fleets. They boarded a shuttle that took them to the defiant Phoenix. As they flew across space, Taiho stared at the Earthship. It was beautiful, deadly, and it was his. Inside the Phoenix, everything was clean and advanced. Crew members moved with purpose. The technology hummed with power that Taiho could feel in his bones. They reached the bridge. Commander Hyunwoo turned from his command chair. He looked at Taiho for a long moment. "Welcome aboard, Taiho," he said. "I'm told you saved a Grimspawn's life once." "I just did what was right," Taiho said. "That's what humans do," Hyunwoo replied. "When the galaxy treated us as prey, when they thought we were weak, we were becoming strong. We unified, we advanced. We built ships that could defend our people." Taiho felt tears in his eyes. "I thought Earth had forgotten us. I thought we were alone out here." "Never," Hyunwoo said firmly. "Every human matters. We've been searching for lost colonies, finding our people, bringing them home. You're not the first, and you won't be the last." A communication came in. It was Dracus, the Grimspawn Supreme Commander. "Commander Hyunwoo, may I come aboard your vessel? I wish to meet the one who saved my life, and I wish to speak with you about the future." Hyunwoo looked at Taiho, who nodded. "You're welcome, Supreme Commander." An hour later, Dracus stood on the bridge of the Phoenix. The massive warrior had to duck through doorways, but managed. Dracus looked at Taiho with those 6 glowing eyes. "Taiho," Dracus said, "you do not remember me. I was young, injured, dying in the rocks of a mining world. You saved me." Taiho bowed his head. "I'm honored to have helped, Supreme Commander." "The Grimspawn pay their debts," Dracus said. "From this day forward, humans are warrior kin. You are under our protection. Any who harm humans will answer to us." The weight of those words settled over the bridge. Warrior kin. It was the highest honor the Grimspawn gave. It meant alliance. It meant family. Hyunwoo extended his hand. Dracus looked at it, then carefully took it in one massive claw. They shook, human and Grimspawn, as equals. Outside, the galaxy was watching. News of what happened was spreading. The weak humans were not weak anymore. They had technology that frightened mercenaries. They had allies that terrified pirates. They had proven they would go anywhere, face anyone, to protect their own. The Colosseum station would be shut down. Vornik would face justice. Thousands of prisoners would be freed. And Earth's message was clear: leave humans alone, or face the consequences. Taiho stood on the bridge of the Phoenix and looked out at the stars. He was going home. 3 days passed before all the humans were safely aboard Earth ships. Commander Hyunwoo had called for additional vessels, and they arrived quickly. The Phoenix was not alone anymore. 5 more Earth warships appeared, each one carrying advanced technology that made the galaxy nervous. The Colosseum station was now under Earth military control. Soldiers walked the corridors, freeing the last of the prisoners and cataloging evidence of crimes. Vornik sat in a cell, waiting for trial. His empire was gone. His wealth was frozen. His name was poison. Yuna had surrendered to the Earth forces. She told them everything she knew about the criminal networks, the slave trade, the corruption. In return, she was offered protection and a new life away from this place. Taiho stood in a medical bay while doctors examined him. They healed his broken ribs with technology that seemed like magic. They treated old scars and malnutrition. In hours, he felt better than he had in years. Krava stayed close. The Grimspawn had been given quarters on the Phoenix, specially modified for their size. But the warrior spent most of the time following Taiho, as if afraid to lose him again. On the third day, Hyunwoo gathered all the rescued humans in the ship's main assembly room. There were 37 of them total. Some were from Taiho's colony ship. Others had been taken from different raids over the past 5 years. Hyunwoo stood before them in his uniform. Behind him, screens showed Earth, home, blue and green and beautiful. "I know you have questions," Hyunwoo began. "I know the last years have been terrible. You thought you were forgotten. You thought Earth had abandoned you. But that was never true." He gestured to the screens. 10 years ago, Earth was divided. We fought among ourselves. We were easy targets for raiders because we were scattered across so many colonies with no unified protection. But something changed. The screens shifted to show massive construction projects, cities being built, ships being assembled, armies training. "We unified," Hyunwoo continued. "Every nation, every people. We realized that we were strongest together. We pooled our knowledge, our resources, our technology. We advanced faster in 10 years than we had in the previous 100. The screen showed the Phoenix and ships like it. Vessels that bent physics, weapons that could stop fleets. We built a military that could protect our people anywhere in the galaxy, and we made a promise. No human would be left behind. We would find every lost colony. We would rescue every prisoner. We would show the galaxy that humans are not prey." The rescued humans were crying, some from relief, some from joy. Some just from the overwhelming emotion of knowing they were not forgotten. "You're going home," Hyunwoo said simply. "All of you. And Earth will make sure nothing like this ever happens again." Later, Taiho sat with Sang-hoon and Hana in the ship's observation deck. They watched the stars together, drinking real coffee for the first time in years. "I still can't believe it," Sang-hoon said. "Earth has ships like this, technology like this. We went from victims to something that makes the galaxy afraid," Hana finished. "Did you see how those Void Claws ran? Void Claws don't run from anything." "Maybe that's what we needed to become," Taiho said quietly. "Strong enough that no one dares to hurt us." Krava approached them. The Grimspawn had been learning some human language from the ship's computers. "Taiho, Commander calls. Important meeting." Taiho stood and followed Krava to the briefing room. Inside, he found Hyunwoo, Supreme Commander Dracus, and several other officers. A woman in diplomatic robes stood with them. She had gray hair and sharp eyes. "Taiho, this is Ambassador Nari," Hyunwoo introduced. "She represents Earth's diplomatic corps." Nari bowed slightly. "Taiho, your actions 3 years ago have changed the course of human history. Because you saved Supreme Commander Dracus, we now have the most powerful military alliance in the galaxy." "I just helped someone who needed it," Taiho said. "I didn't know they were important." "That's precisely why it matters," Dracus said. The massive Grimspawn leaned forward. "You showed mercy without expecting reward. You risked yourself for a stranger. That is the mark of a true warrior." Nari activated a holographic display. It showed a map of the galaxy with various markers. "The Galactic Council has been watching what happened here," she explained. "They've seen Earth's new capabilities. They've seen our alliance with the Grimspawn. They've sent us a formal invitation." "Invitation to what?" Taiho asked. "To join the Council as a military protectorate power," Hyunwoo said. "It's a position of significant authority. We would be responsible for maintaining peace in several sectors. We would have a voice in galactic politics." "That's good, isn't it?" Taiho asked. "Yes and no," Nari said. "It means we can't be ignored anymore. But it also means we have responsibilities. And it means the galaxy will be watching us very closely." Dracus made a clicking sound that the translator interpreted as amusement. "The other species are afraid. For centuries they saw humans as weak, as prey. Now they realize you are predators who simply chose not to show your teeth. That terrifies them. We don't want to be feared, Taiho said. We just want to be safe. Sometimes those things are the same, Hyunwoo replied. The galaxy respects strength. Now that we've shown ours, we can protect not just ourselves, but others. The holographic map zoomed in on various points. Each one marked a world or station where humans had been enslaved. We've identified 47 locations where humans are being held against their will, Hyunwoo explained. We're planning rescue operations for all of them. Some will be diplomatic, some will be military, but we will bring our people home. I want to help, Taiho said immediately. Hyunwoo studied him. You've been through enough. You can go home, rest, recover. With respect, Commander, those people need someone who understands what they've been through, someone who can tell them it gets better. I want to be part of the rescue teams. Nari smiled. You have warrior-kin status with the Grimspawn. That makes you valuable in negotiations. Many species will hesitate to fight if they see you standing with Grimspawn warriors. Krava wishes to stay with Taiho, Dracus added, as personal guard and friend. I approve this assignment. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. All right. You'll need training first. Our military operations are different than what you're used to. But if you're willing to learn, we can use people like you. Over the following weeks, Taiho trained on the Phoenix. He learned how to use Earth's new weapons and armor. He studied strategy and diplomacy. He worked with Krava to build better communication between humans and Grimspawn. He also met other rescued humans who had chosen to join the military. People like him, who wanted to help free others. They formed a special unit called the Pathfinders. Their job was to locate and rescue human prisoners, using their experience to help others survive. News of Earth's actions spread across the galaxy. Other species began reaching out. Some asked for protection from pirates. Some wanted alliances. Some just wanted to avoid making Earth an enemy. The Grimspawn honored their word. Any ship that attacked humans found itself facing Grimspawn warships. Pirates who had made fortunes from slave trading suddenly found their operations destroyed. Criminal empires that had lasted centuries collapsed in weeks. A year after his rescue, Taiho stood on the bridge of a new ship. The Wanderer was smaller than the Phoenix, designed specifically for rescue operations. Its crew was made up of former prisoners and volunteers, all dedicated to finding lost humans. Krava stood beside him, as always. The Grimspawn warrior had become famous across the galaxy. The champion who refused to kill an honored one. The warrior who chose friendship over glory. New mission data coming in, said Lieutenant Ji-won, who had transferred to Taiho's crew. Her enhanced reflexes made her the best navigator in the fleet. A holographic display showed a mining colony on the edge of known space. 23 human life signs detected. They've been there for approximately 7 years. Taiho felt the familiar anger burn in his chest. 7 years, twice as long as he had been imprisoned. But now he could do something about it. How long until we arrive? He asked. 4 hours at maximum speed, Ji-won replied. Then let's not waste time, Taiho said. Those people have waited long enough. The Wanderer jumped to faster-than-light travel. Behind it, a small Grimspawn escort fleet followed. Dracus had made sure that every rescue mission had Grimspawn support. It was both protection and a message to the galaxy. As they traveled, Taiho thought about how much had changed. He had gone from a prisoner expecting to die to a soldier helping others. Earth had gone from scattered colonies to a unified power. Humans had gone from prey to protectors. And it had all started because he chose to help a wounded creature in the darkness. Because he showed mercy when he could have walked away. Krava made a clicking sound that Taiho now understood meant satisfaction. You're thinking about the past, Krava said in improving human language. About how we met. Yes, Taiho admitted. I never imagined that choice would lead to all this. Best choices are not made for reward, Krava said. They are made because they are right. You taught me that. Now we teach Galaxy. Taiho smiled. Krava was right. They were teaching the Galaxy a new lesson, that humans took care of their own, that humans remembered their friends, and that humans would fight with everything they had to protect those who could not protect themselves. The Galaxy had learned to fear human strength, but more importantly, they were learning to respect human loyalty. The Wanderer dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the mining colony. The facility's security scanned them and saw the Earth warship with its Grimspawn escorts. A message came through immediately. Please, don't fire. We surrender. We'll release all prisoners. Taiho allowed himself a small smile. A year ago, they would have laughed and fought. Now they surrendered before a shot was fired. Begin evacuation procedures, he ordered his crew. Let's bring our people home. As rescue teams deployed, Taiho watched from the bridge. Soon, 23 more humans would be free. 23 more people would learn that Earth never forgot them. And somewhere out there, in the vast galaxy, there were more humans waiting. More people who needed to know they weren't alone. Taiho would find them, all of them, because that's what humans did. They protected their own, they kept their promises, and they never, ever left anyone behind. The galaxy was learning that lesson now, and it would never forget.